Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the great state of Florida and right there at Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. It's getting cold, folks. Give Comfort Temp Heating and Air a phone call. They're your number one local HVAC company. Comfort is their business. Peace of mind is their promise. If you missed it yesterday, all the underdogs won in the National Football League, the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Joe Burrow led. Well, he's so damn good, JC. You're on the Titan More Highline courtesy of Comfort. There's no more player that I've ever watched play quarterback more fundamentally sound than Joe Burrow.
That's what Troy Aikman says.
Did he?
It's exactly what he said. He says he's his favorite quarterback to watch. It's amazing how this guy can be so dialed in after 2 months off. I don't know. I mean, it must just be easy for him. He processes things at the line of scrimmage like Dan Marino. I mean, he's insane. And Cincinnati as a team, they look like a real team. And guess what? They're only 2 games out of winning the division. They've got 6 games left. They're 4-8, so that's 12. So they have 5 games left. Baltimore 6-6, Pittsburgh 6-6. Yeah, 5 games left. Cincinnati is still in this, if you can believe it, for the division. That's insane.
Yep. And then in the college game last night, Navy goes to Memphis and win. JC, do you have any idea the scenario?
9 wins. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The scenario, is it Navy, North Texas, or Tulane, or who?
Yep.
Or is it James Madison?
Well, those are the I was going to add them. Those are the 4. It's the highest ranked of those group of 5 conference winners. So we have to see who's going to win the conference between Tulane and North Texas. And I don't know the scenario because I just haven't followed that conference. I should. It's a damn good conference to watch football if you like competitive football. In terms of the top half of it, and I mean it's more interesting to me than the Big Ten. But anyway, I think of North Texas. I want to say North Texas and their soon-to-be deposed coach, Eric Morris, who's going to Oklahoma State. And by the way, he's going to coach North Texas until their season is over and then go to Okie State.
I love that guy.
Yeah, Eric Morris. So he's going to Okie State, but he's in charge of the Mean Green, and they're trying to get in the playoffs. I think if they win, I want to say they're good to go.
They can score, and they got a really good quarterback. You know, Eric Morris, he was part of Patrick Mahomes, John Mateer, and Cam Ward during their careers.
Wow. Well, the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He'll be at Okie State for 2 years, and he'll be on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, and QB, this is the amazing thing about these coaches, man. I mean, Eric Morris, look at what Jake Dickert's doing at Wake Forest. He's about to go 9-3 if they beat Duke. There are so many good coaches out there, and I hope Gator fans realize that if Lane Kiffin is not the guy on Saturday when we find out what he wants to do, I hope Florida fans do realize, and I was kind of guilty of this because I want a big name, splash hard, whatever you want to call it. But there are so many damn good coaches that haven't been labeled a great coach yet that are out there. It's just they're everywhere. And Jake Dickert's a great example of that. Eric Morris is a great example of that. And there's probably a couple. Well, there are plenty I'm forgetting about. I think Kalani Sitake at BYU is a great example of that. Lincoln Riley gets $100 million, but at BYU, Sitake gets a fraction of that, and BYU's in the playoff picture. The Big Ten is not a great conference from top to bottom. It's top heavy with one team. So why wouldn't USC want be a team that would be able to compete and they still have no chance to advance in that conference? So I don't think if Florida fans don't get that big name, I don't think it means that things are going to go south. You can find these coaches. There are so many great coaches out there. QB, look at the guy at Texas Tech. Look at the guy at Tulane. Look at these people that just come out of nowhere, and next thing you know, they're in the discussion for a conference championship of some sort. So I think it's not over, folks. If Lane decides he's not coming to Florida, it's not over. Not by any means.
John on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, does Master Maker go to Stillwater? If he has any eligibility left, yes, he does. You know who that is, JC?
Master Maker?
I think that's how you pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
that's the
Master
quarterback.
Maker.
Yeah,
he's quarterback at North Texas.
He's the quarterback at North Texas. I don't know why he wouldn't go to Okie State.
He will.
Yeah. I mean, these guys follow their coach. That's why Lane Kiffin's
That's why it doesn't matter if your coach leaves or not anymore.
Well, you know how we fix all this, QB? It's very simple. It's a calendar issue in college football. And what I mean by that is you take the transfer portal from January 3rd, you move it back to February. You don't let these kids come in early enrollment in the spring. You let them enjoy their prom and stay in high school for their last semester, and you bring them in during the summer. You open up summer training camps.
Well, the prom has nothing to do with the transfer portal, Jason.
No, but I think the transfer portal has a lot to do with the reason why some of these coaches.
But if you're going to the prom, you're in high school.
No, but I'm talking about early enrollment. There's just so many things you can do in college football that.
Well, that early enrollment is the kid's decision.
If you say they can't, if college football says you can't come in until the fall as a freshman, then that doesn't matter. In terms of football playing, like you can't participate in spring practice. Get rid of it. What's the point of that? And let's open up summer like they do in the NFL. Let's have those workouts in the summer and just kind of make it a little bit cleaner. And this thing with the transfer portal in January 3rd is why all these coaches feel this urgency if they're going to go to a new job to leave their current job. What team in the NFL allows you to talk to their coach during the season? How about none of them? It's against the rules. You can't be tampering other teams' coaches in college football during the season. I think it's wrong, and I think that's what happens, and that's a problem. And so if Lane Kiffin was told that, listen, you can't leave until after the season's done, we would have had all this ridiculous conversation for 2 months on where he was going to go. All of these things can be changed. It's so easy, but college football won't do it. It just seems like to me these folks that make these decisions in college football are simply just suicidal in terms of keeping things structured. Because if you said, listen, you can't talk to another team's coach and another team's coach can't leave until after the season, just like in the NFL, you wouldn't have all this nonsense. And this transfer portal crap, move it to February like they used to do with signing day. Move everything to February. Hell, move the basketball season from November to January and play the tournament in May. Do things the right way. Let's just get it right. And I just don't think these folks have the desire or the will or the drive to change things. And that's other than, let's just pay everybody. Let's just let them leave on a whim. And let's tell these coaches, hey, here's $100 million. But if you leave in 2 years, no problem. I'll just tell the boosters it was a bad decision. That's crap. These Mississippi fans in Mississippi have every reason to be sick because of all the investment they put in and all the things they gave to Lane Kiffin. And all he's done is play them until tomorrow. It's hard to deal with for me.
But did they really think he was going to? We still don't know what he's going to do. But did they really think he was going to coach his entire career at Ole Miss?
No.
Okay,
So how long has he been there, QB? 4 years?
6 years.
6. Well,
I don't care if he's there for 2 years and leaves. I mean, it's
hard to invest in a guy if you.
No, I get that, but you got to remember, you are a fan of a school. Okay.
Yeah.
The coach usually is a fan of one school and one school only, or two schools, I should say. The school he played at, usually, he's a fan of, and then whoever's writing his freaking checks.
Yeah.
But if he has an opportunity to go elsewhere, he's going. The problem is that fan who went to school, went to all those games, whatever school we're talking about is, they're not going to transfer and start rooting for another school because that is their school. They can't look at it from a coach's standpoint.
Well, I know, but in college football, we have so much chaos. If you want to start straightening things out, then break out some rules and create.
You're never going to have a rule where a coach can't go somewhere.
Well, create some barriers. At least say, you know what, you can't talk to him until after his season's over.
Well, that's fine.
He can't leave until after the season is over. Lane Kiffin can leave on Saturday, and his team's going to still be playing football, likely.
Correct.
I think
that's an NCAA deal. That's not a fan base or anything like that problem.
No, but that's what I mean. And the fans are directly involved. QB, who supports this crap? Who's paying for it?
Well, here's what I'd like to tell you. If Lane Kiffin is not coaching the Ole Miss Rebels next year, they're still going to have the same people giving money to the NIL going to watch the games.
I don't know. At some point, folks are going to say, I'm getting tired of being.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They say that, but they're going to continue watching and going to the Grove.
No, I agree with that. But
it's no different than the Gators, JC. We've sucked for how many years?
I
Our
know.
people still show up.
They show up. They show
Okay.
up.
That's what I'm saying.
But QB, I think at some point you get to diminishing returns. And I think that people who are writing checks are going to say, you know what, I can put my money somewhere else when I have this much uncertainty as to what it's going to do for them.
Well, maybe they will, but they still will go to the games. They may not give all the money to the NIL, but they'll still go to the games.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about is the NIL. It's financial support for these programs.
Jim on the Titan our text line says, Shane, what are your thoughts on the basketball team really struggling in the backcourt? I watched a lot of that game yesterday. As y'all's heard, again, I just analyze stuff. I don't take shots at players. I do it in football as well. I've never understood the Alex Condon NBA stuff. I just don't see it.
Well, maybe they'll quit talking about it. So you don't.
Well, he's not playing well. He's still turning the ball over. The backcourt can't make a shot. I'm not giving up on them because they're both highly recruited kids. I think Ty Golden absolutely knows what he's doing. Ball's got to go in the basket though, so maybe he'll tweak his backcourt today. Maybe I don't know. They play Providence at 3 o'clock.
Did anybody show up for the Thanksgiving game against TCU? Or wait, where was that?
JC, the game was played in San Diego.
I'm still saying, did anybody show up for that?
Yeah, it was a tournament.
So
People there
okay.
at the Jenny Craig Pavilion.
Jenny Craig, yeah, that's right. Weight loss. Okay. Yeah. Somebody here, so checks 6X says, shut up, quit crying. I'm not crying. I'm just trying to bring solutions to this broken system of college football checks. And I think it is somewhat broken. It's too chaotic. Yeah, I watched those games yesterday. It was great. I thought Dallas, they're on a little bit of a heater right now. They're still in the playoff picture. If they beat Detroit next week, they've got a very easy schedule. They could easily get to 10 wins, maybe even 11. And then, the game today, for some reason, the NFL has to have a game today during college football rivalry startup week or startup day for this big weekend. And the Bears are playing the Eagles. Okay.
What's that line, JC?
Oh, the Bears and Eagles. I should know this off the top of my head. We're about to do a picks gambling show here at 8:30, so I should have this on the top of my head. But for some reason, I've been looking mostly at the college games. But the Bears are catching 7 at Philly. Philly's struggling on offense, and they're not consistent. I think it all starts at the quarterback position. And where's Barkley been all year? So if you like trends and teams that are running hot, you got to take the 7 points with Chicago, don't you?
They're going to move the football.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
Well, that's a great matchup.
When you watch the Detroit Lions, they aren't the same team without Ben Johnson.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Dan Campbell is not a great play caller. But
he's not Ben Johnson.
You know what I loved yesterday, JC, watching, because I think Matt LaFleur is a tremendous play caller. I think Goff and the offense for the Lions is incredible. I love watching the Chiefs, obviously. But you know what I love the most? Because we have so many people on this program that obviously I understood their criticism of Billy Napier with his condensed tight formations.
Yeah.
People don't realize what a bind tight formations put on a defense. And you saw it yesterday from all those teams. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
There was a lot of points scored yesterday, and it's fun to watch those games. It's a lot more fun than watching, 17-7, 13-6. I think that's where football's at. That's where you have to go now. You have to hire these offensive minds that can get the ball in the end zone if you're going to win, in my mind. That's why the Jets suck still, and they will always suck. They make bad decisions, and Aaron Glenn is a defensive coach. Doesn't mean a defensive coach won't win football games for you, but I think, we all want at Florida an offensive mind, not a Billy Napier, but somebody that showed us he can score a lot of points on a consistent basis. I want that coach at Florida if you want to win games.
Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians, great food and Southern hospitality in the center of the University of Brooksville, Florida, and also at the Florida Cracker Oyster Bar in Keystone Heights. Go check them out, floridacracker.com. We got JC here, then he'll turn it over, and he and Zach will do their little show. JC, let's talk about the Egg Bowl today, how interesting this is going to be.
Great game.
I think it's going to be close because it's in Stark Vegas.
You like that, huh?
Think about Lane's. Here's Lane's itinerary for the day. He's got to figure out a way to beat these guys. If they lose, they're out of the playoffs.
Yes, they're out.
All right, so they got to find a way to beat them. So that game's going to probably be over at 3:30-ish. Let's say he will depart uh, Starkville. I don't know if he's going to go back on the bus. Probably not, because he's got to go to Tupelo for a high school football game tonight,
Big,
which
big.
Tupelo's very good.
What a day.
And then what do you think he's going to do in the morning? Is he going to walk into the Manning Center and have a press conference, or is he going to jump on a plane and fly somewhere?
I think he's going to it's going to be announced through the university what he's going to do with a press conference later, and he's going to get on a plane. That's what I think. Because if he is leaving to go to LSU or Florida or wherever, he will be in that town tomorrow. That's what I think.
What's weird though is LSU doesn't play in Baton Rouge tomorrow.
They sure don't. But all of the attention could be there, and all the attention could be in Gainesville. If he's think about this day tomorrow for Florida people. Let's just say he shocks everybody and says, you know what, Florida is where I've always wanted to go. I'm going to come. And he shows up Saturday morning. And then the game with Florida State is about to kick off, and fans are just kind of rolling in. And all of a sudden, they roll out this guy with a microphone before Mr. Two Bits. And
here's what I said they should do. If he were to come to Florida, they should sneak him onto the field in like a golf cart as Mr. Two. We're going to kick Noah to the curb. Because Noah's Mr. Two Bits.
Yeah.
Noah's already in for the plan. Trust me, he don't want to do it. I should say he doesn't want to do it. He would rather that coach be doing it. So.
Listen, if Lane Kiffin does Mr. Two Bits too, and we're just thinking out loud. Yeah. But
if I was in charge of the marketing department, that's what I would do.
I'll tell you, if that happens, I am jumping on Florida -1 or whatever the line is as fast as possible. Because Florida State, this game, QB is so. 6 weeks ago we were thinking, FSU is going to win, but they have hit some hard times, man. And this Castellanos did not pan out. And I think
they're one game away from going to a bowl game.
They are, but they've won 5. And when you think about
3.
And Florida's won 3.
Do you know what the line on this game was preseason?
No.
Gators by 13.
Well, we didn't know what Florida State was capable of. They played that first game, and then
we didn't know what we were capable of either.
No,
we went from a 13-point favorite to having 3 wins.
Well, and I think folks were definitely looking at 8 wins for this team because everybody assumed DJ Lagway wouldn't be an overweight slob that's just not playing worth a damn. And I think, you look at what's gone well for Florida this year. I think the defensive side of the ball for sure. But Jaden but listen, QB, you can't keep sticking the defense out there to be exposed.
I agree. We're not a very good football team. I don't think we play great defense, and we can't sustain drives. You have no consistency on offense. You have 0 chance to win a bunch of games if you're not consistent.
Yeah, no, they've lacked that, and it's too bad. But if this guy Kiffin shows up tomorrow before the game, you will see some energy in that stadium, and people will be high-fiving the entire game regardless of the score. But, I'm dreaming, right? So we'll see. But I think that to answer your question 10 minutes ago that you asked, he's going to be in a plane tomorrow going somewhere if he's leaving. Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah. Electronics World, integration, design specialist, smart home automation, entertainment. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators, college football, basketball, and the NFL to your living room. Check them out, electronicsworld.net. JC, what is the line of the Florida game?
1.5 that Florida's favored. Think about that. That team that you saw against Tennessee is favored to beat
the semis.
A team with 5 wins trying to make a bowl game. I mean, they are as dead as that horse and that Indian behind you, bro.
You like that picture?
They are on their ass. That is the greatest picture. If you don't like FSU, you have to plaster that in your bedroom.
I forgot what year that was when Renegade and Chief Osceola went down.
I'm glad this game is finally here because there's 2 good things that can happen. The first good thing that can happen is they actually beat FSU, and the second good thing that can happen is that the season ends when they're done. And we go forward. And so it's a good day. This is a great weekend, man. Rivalry weekend. It's amazing how quickly we get here, but we say this every year. And here it is, finally, the best lineup of games. And we're going to go through every one of them on Win with JC here in a short time, in a few minutes with Zach. But I got to believe that we're going to see I think we're going to see a very chalky weekend, if you will, meaning I like teams that are favored to win this weekend because I think they have something to play for over teams that are a rival that really don't. So we'll see. I mean, I was surprised at some of the results from last weekend, but the game tonight between Texas A&M and Texas, I heard you and Mike Morgan talking about that, man. It's going to be just an insane scene in Austin. It's too bad that the Longhorns have 3 losses. I don't agree with him in that they have a path to get in. Too much has to happen, and I don't think they're that good. I don't think Texas is a very good football team. I think they're fine.
Well, Texas has 2 of their 3 losses are so-called good losses, right? They lost to Ohio State and Georgia.
But
people look and say, how in the hell do they lose to Florida?
But some of their wins are just very scratch your head like.
Yeah.
The Mississippi State game comes to mind. So yeah, Florida, what the hell was that? And so I don't think that team is eligible. I don't think that team is even close.
I don't think they're out. They're
out. They're out. I don't care if they beat A&M or not. That's a rivalry game. Everybody knows it. A&M's going. They're playing for seeding, clearly.
So, JC, here's your theory. If you're Mike Elko, do you try to win the game tonight?
I do.
Okay, well, if you win it, that means you got to go to Atlanta. If you lose it, you don't go to Atlanta.
Right. And that's why I think this SEC championship game is flawed. I do.
Yeah, well, people want to go win that damn. A&M has never been there. Think about how many
it's big for them.
Aggie folks will be there, and they're probably facing Alabama.
No, it's totally. So if you're Georgia and you're blowing up on Georgia Tech today, are you rooting for?
They're going to destroy Georgia Tech today, in my opinion.
I know they are. So
what is that line?
Okay, we're gonna go through a few real quick here with you before you leave because I want to hear your take on these. But that line is 13.5.
Oh,
and I think 2 weeks ago, the look ahead line a couple weeks ago is single digits. Now it's blown up because Georgia Tech can't stop it.
Yeah, so let's get to that. The Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go check them out at peachlanddental.com. Obviously, you're going to do some more picks, but you want to get my thoughts on some of these games?
I want to hear what you think about these picks, and we'll go through them again here in about 10 minutes. But these rivalry games are tremendous, and we'll start with that Georgia game. I'm going to put you down for UGA minus 30.
I think Georgia names the score in this game.
Names the score. So
look, I think Brent Key and what Georgia Tech has done the last couple of years is great.
It is.
But JC, again, this is just me watching their scores and a few of their games. It seems like every game is so close.
So close. It is so close.
And they could easily be, let's just say his record is 20-12, in these 1-score games, or 20-10, whatever. I don't even know what it is. It could easily be 5-35. They play so many close games.
I would be surprised if Stockton doesn't have 300 passing and the team doesn't have 200 rushing.
I think Georgia wins by 20+.
Okay, I like that. I'm with you there, actually. Texas game in Austin tonight. That's the last game of our SEC triple header. Texas A&M minus 2.5 with Marcel Reed. I like Texas A&M because I think they're going to want to play the best football of the season in these last 2 weeks.
I think seeing A&M in person, I was very impressed. If Marcel Reed doesn't turn it over, I think they win the game handily.
And people want to say South Carolina. Every team that wins a championship has one of those games, it seems like. And so Texas A&M, I think, is primed to go in there and beat their hated rival. I think they skipped about 13 years of playing each other until the league SEC made them play. This is an interesting game, and I don't know what you think about it, but in the Midwest, Iowa and Nebraska in the Feed the World game, Iowa, to me, has offense. They're a little bit better than in the past, and I think Nebraska, without their quarterback and with just a small bowl game to play for, I think Iowa goes into Lincoln and smokes them.
I like the Hawkeyes as well.
Okay, let's take Iowa. What do you think about the Saturday games with, say, Tennessee and Vanderbilt? Tennessee is in Knoxville. We saw them last week. Vanderbilt was very impressive in their game against Kentucky, right? And Chris Doering, I believe, has said that Diego Pavia is his Heisman Trophy pick. And, if you look at Diego's numbers, there's a lot of them that would back that up. A lot of those stats are very, very impressive. Of course, he's a good player. But they're catching 2.5. Is that enough at Tennessee, QB?
I'm going to take the Vols. Tennessee, what are they? What's their record? They have 3 losses.
Yeah, they're 8-3, and they'll go 9-3 with this one.
Yeah, I like the Vols.
Okay. Well, here's the season is on the line for Alabama. Auburn is trying to get into a bowl game. They have 5 wins, and I think DJ Durkin has put himself in position for a job somewhere, if not at Auburn. In spite of what happened with him in Maryland, I think folks are willing to forget about that. He's a very good defensive coach. I think he's a good coach, period. And I think Auburn's going to stay with Alabama. I'm going to take the 6.
Oh, this one's tough.
Well, Alabama has to win this. There's no.
Yeah, I think Alabama's going to win the game. They could easily win it by 7.
I'll
just go against you and take Alabama.
Okay, well, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. I want Alabama to play well and get ready for Atlanta. I'm going to be in Atlanta next week anyway, so I'm rooting for them. Here's a good game. Miami still, believe it or not, listen, this thing with Miami and Notre Dame, I'll never, ever agree that the first tiebreaker in any scenario, regardless if all things are the same and the records and schedules are basically the exact same, how you can't take a team that won the game when they both played. But Notre Dame is ahead of Miami in the rankings because of how they're playing today. But that completely disregards the game that was actually played between the two teams. And why play those games if they don't matter? And in this case, it doesn't seem to matter at all. And Miami's laying 6.5. I think they're going to make a statement in Pittsburgh. Now, I know they don't like that 30-degree weather. I know Pitt's coming off a big win against Georgia Tech. But I think Miami's going to out-athlete these guys and win by 10 or more. I'm taking
it. They could, but I like the Pitt Panthers. They still control a lot of their destiny.
You like the Pitt Panthers?
I do like the Pitt. I think Cade's done a tremendous job. I love their freshman quarterback. Yeah, I'll take the Pitt Panthers.
Okay, you got them. I see this being very similar to that Notre Dame game they played. I just think there's too many players on Miami's team. But you could be right. Pitt maybe just laid down in that game getting ready for these last 2 ACC games. Who the hell knows? These are college games.
Well, their coach even said they did.
Yeah, he did. He says, I
don't care about the game today. He said that I think because College Game Day was there.
I should have listened to him when I bet on Pitt that day. Michigan and Ohio State starts it all off at noon. I don't want to hear this about Ryan Day can't beat Michigan. He can beat Michigan. He has beaten Michigan.
Where are they playing the game at?
Michigan's offensively challenged. The game is in. Do you watch college football, QB? Do you have any?
I'm always calling the games, JC.
What do you do for 18 hours before the game?
We have what they call pregame shows. You can't just. I just don't roll up there in my Tahoe 30 minutes before the game, sitting at home watching other games.
There are 6 days before game day. All right, so. Of course, if you're on the golf course, why would you care?
Well, yeah, that golf, it depends on what time we play because I am getting my golf in, by the way.
Michigan is at home.
I like Ohio State. Michigan bores the hell out of me.
Well, so that's why you're taking Ohio State because you're not.
Yes, that's why. I love Julian Sagan.
You like the quarterback. Yeah, you like the quarterback. And I
like their quarterback than the other quarterback.
Now, in a big spread game, Texas Tech is laying 23.5 against West Virginia in the mountains. Do you think Tech's covered that?
I know nothing about West Virginia.
I don't either. They're just not good.
I just know that Texas Tech is so damn good, and I love their 2 quarterbacks.
It's amazing, folks, what you can do in 1 year with the transfer portal.
Well, Tech was pretty good last year too, weren't they?
Maybe, but they still probably lost 6 games. I don't know. This team is a much different team than last year. The Matador Club spent $30 million before the House settlement rules kicked in on July the 1st. They did this on June 30th. The rule is what, $20.5 million?
And majority of that money went to their front 4 on defense.
Right. And so they just said, listen, we're just going to look like LSU and the old Alabama schools and the old Florida schools and play defense like we should, and we'll score points. And that's what they did. I'm taking Tech as well. Yeah.
All right, JC, we've run out of time. We got to take a break, and then
all right,
you're in charge. That's
we're gonna pick some winners for everybody, and
that's right.
Roll into the rivalry weekend.
All right. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Had a great Thanksgiving. Gators will have a new coach come Monday on this program.
Well, will they have a new coach? Will we know?
Yes, they'll have a new coach. We'll know who the new coach is on Monday, at the latest. JC. All right, JC. Good luck on your picks. Win some folks. It's a holiday weekend, JC. Do not screw the loyal listeners around the world.
That means that that Florida's decided on the coach regardless of Lane Kiffin. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, I think we'll have a coach named by Monday at the latest.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I mean, we
No.
could come on this program Monday morning and not have a coach. But I think we will have a coach.
All right, cool.
All right, that's JC Joyce on the Titan More Highline, courtesy of Comfort. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. You're watching, listening to Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, JF Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother, Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football. Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
All right, everybody, we're back after our segment with Shane. Good to have you with us. This is JC along with Zach's going to be on here with us. And we're going to try to find you some winners on Rivalry Weekend. This is a Friday before the big weekend. And, of course, tomorrow's got the majority of the games, but they have stacked up some college football for us today to kind of go through and weed out some of the trends, maybe some of the systems that we like to help us handicap these games. Last week, cash and trash, we cashed 8, including that Oklahoma-Missouri under. We cashed the Texas Longhorns over Arkansas and the BYU Cougars over Cincinnati, along with Tulane, but we lost that Georgia Tech fiasco, Kentucky just laying down against Vanderbilt. We lost that. And I liked the USC-Oregon under, but they scored a lot in the second half. And that's typical of USC. Let's just lay down and not play defense. I had Nebraska. That was an abysmal pick, getting 8.5 against Penn State. Penn State is playing for a bowl game. So we got to keep our eye on them. And I like them going into this weekend today against Rutgers. I think Penn State is an easy cover there. I think they're playing great football, and I think they like that coach that they used as an interim coach. Florida and Florida State is a game locally, of course, in Gainesville. The game starts at 4:30. I want to say it's 4:30. You know, 2 teams that have hit hard times this year, and it's a futile effort to either handicap or try to figure out what team shows up to the ballpark on Saturday. Is it the Florida team that showed up against Mississippi, that played with some purpose, at least effort? Or is it the team that fell on their face and just threw in the white towel against Kentucky and Tennessee? I have been to the Swamp. I've been going to Florida Field for 30, 40 years of my life. Maybe, no, more than that. My first game was in the early 70s when the walls were blue, not orange. And the field was a rug. And I'll tell you, other than in 1979, The game I saw last week against Tennessee showed a complete and utter just quit. And if that team shows up, Florida State's winning. But Florida State's bad. And they're Castellanos guy. I mean, look at this line. You've got a team that played Tennessee and got rolled out of their own building as a 1.5-point favorite. It is useless to try to pick that game. You go with your heart in this case. And if you love Florida, you pick them. If you love Florida State, you pick them. Or you just say, I'm staying away from this disaster. And it's a shame that these two teams have a combined 8 wins on the season. Florida State with 5. Florida with 3. So, all right, let's pick up the energy a little bit. Let's not worry about that. The season's almost over. And as Shane just said a few minutes ago, if you were catching the end of Matthews in the Morning with myself and Shane, he says Florida will have a coach on Monday. Well, all I know is that Lane Kiffin will tell you tomorrow where he's going and whether or not it's Florida. I did not know Florida was going to be ready to announce their coach on Monday, but if they are, we'll have a lot to talk about on Monday as we look into the future of Florida Gator football. So with that, let's go to these big games starting today in college football at noon in Starkville, Mississippi. Zach, we've got Mississippi State at home, a team that's got 5 wins trying to get to a bowl game. They need to win this game. They've had some very close losses. This is a team that's been this close to greatness this year. Greatness meaning 7 or 8 wins for a team that didn't win any last year in the SEC. They started off hot with that win against Arizona State. They had some real just soul-crushing losses to Tennessee, to Texas, games that they had in their pocket and they let slip away. It was heartbreaking to watch. Mississippi's dealing with all the Lane Kiffin distraction and so forth. But as far as we know, the football team might not be distracted at all because what he tells them may be completely different than what the writers and these chat room folks online tell us in terms of what he's doing. Maybe they're just fine. I think they go into Starkville. I think they blow out the Bulldogs. I hate saying it because I'm rooting for Mississippi State. I will always root for Mississippi State. But they just don't have the horses, I think, to keep up with Trinidad Chambliss. I'm going to take Mississippi laying 7.5. It's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know which direction you were going to go with this, but to me, as far as all the controversy goes, 'cause there certainly is a lot of different narratives circulating the Ole Miss program right now. But to me, Lane Kiffin feels like the type of guy that almost feels like he would thrive under those sort of circumstances and be able to bring the team together and route. And the players obviously want to play. The players want to finish what they started. They want to get the championship. I like Ole Miss to cover pretty handily. 7.5 is not enough. The over-under is 62.5. I think that Ole Miss is going to put a lot of progress towards that by themselves. So I would probably take the over, even though that is a huge number. But I like Ole Miss minus 7.5 better.
I was going toward the over, but I think the under for me only because I don't think State's going to score that much.
I understand, and they could try to do that clock control and kind of slow the game down a bit. I could see that for sure.
Down the road this afternoon after the Mississippi game, if you go east to Atlanta, you will see the Mercedes Dome. Georgia Tech is playing Georgia. And Georgia Tech, this is supposed to be their home game because of that game last year in Athens, where Georgia Tech had Georgia beat by all measures. Haynes King fumbles a ball. He played out of his mind that day. He ran the ball with a broken arm, basically. And Georgia Tech should have won that game. But right now, I think you've got a Georgia Bulldog team that is just right now hitting their stride. For them, maybe continuing to play is a good thing. So winning this game puts them in position for the SEC championship, meaning they have to root for Auburn to beat Alabama. If Auburn beats Alabama, then Georgia will go to the SEC championship game in Atlanta the following week. And for a team that's running hot, I don't think you want 3 weeks off. Maybe you do. Maybe you need it. Maybe you got to have it. But either way, if you play in the SEC championship game, you still get a week off. You get a week off, and then you will either play as one of the top 4 seeds, or the loser will likely play as a home or road team in the first round of the playoffs starting December 19th and 20th. That still gives you time from the 4th to the 19th to heal up because you do have a date off that weekend in between. So for Georgia, I think it's a 20-point win. I thought this game would be really interesting and fun to watch. I'm also liking the under 59.5 because I think Georgia Tech is going to have trouble scoring on Georgia. And I could be wrong, but they're a one-dimensional type team, and I think Georgia will eat them alive. I'm taking Georgia.
Yeah, under 59.5 sounds like the best overall play. I think I would also take Georgia with 14.5, despite kind of the theme we've been saying with Georgia all year, and it has been working, is that they don't really blow teams out. They just win games. They win situational football. But I think this is more about Georgia Tech. I could kind of see them coming out real flat after the way that last week went, and just not kind of getting off to a slow start and then never really being able to claw back. And so, yeah, I like Georgia and also the under 59.5.
Yeah, I mean, I see a 38-20 game, 38-17, something like that. And that's still well under 59.5. Then tonight, oh man, this is the game everybody's been waiting to watch. I just say because Texas A&M and Texas, point here for Texas. Can you remember a team that's been more overhyped before the season with their celebrity superstar quarterback who is not either, and their the idea that they were going to be number one in the country, then they lose and score no points against Ohio State, literally speaking, or relatively speaking. And I think they've been awful this year. Texas is not going anywhere except some bowl game. A&M's got everything to play for. They want to have a week off. After the week off and the week off, they'll play in January if they win this game and go to the SEC championship and win that game. So if they lose this game, Mississippi wins and Auburn wins, then you've got Ole Miss and Georgia in the SEC championship. But if Alabama wins, then you'll have, in all likelihood, you'll have either A&M or Mississippi. I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but they'll play Alabama. If A&M wins, of course, they play Alabama or Georgia in the SEC championship game. So I'm taking Texas A&M. It's under a field goal, and I like the over 53.5 because I think Marcel Reed is going to do Marcel Reed things and spread them out. They'll score on Texas, and I think Texas will score on them as well, even though I'm not an Arch Manning fan. So I'm taking over 53, but I love Texas A&M minus 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to keep agreeing with you, but I'm not going to disagree just to disagree. I've said pretty frequently that I think that Texas A&M's defensive line is about the most dominating unit in all of college football. And so I don't see any reason to go away from that at this point. They haven't done anything to make me not see that. I think they can really get after Arch Manning, make things really difficult for him. And yeah, as far as Texas being a disappointment, no, I don't remember a team coming into the season with that much hype, that much celebrity, and Matthew McConaughey on the sideline and being this disappointing. And so yeah, Texas A&M, this is their Super Bowl. This is their big rivalry. They want to beat Texas. They want to be the big brother in the state. They want to show that it's their states. I mean, it's all right here in front of you right now. 2.5 points. That line that seems way too small. So yeah, Texas A&M.
Barone 71 says, JC, you described Texas. The same can be applied to Florida this year with all the undeserved hype for Lagway and Florida being a playoff team. I'm not sure I remember them saying me saying that I think they would be a playoff team. Maybe Shane did, or maybe the overall consensus was that Florida would be a playoff team. But it did depend on Lagway, and he had no summer work at all. It showed overweight. Footwork is a disaster. Just a miserable experience for the young man this year. And maybe that's true. I don't know. I just don't think Texas and Florida have much in common. And Florida blows them out. That was the best win Florida's had in a long time. And from there, it's gone dead south. Yeah. So I have to bring that up. We already know.
So MSRK says that South Carolina laid 24 points on them and a half. I'm going to go ahead. Talking about another team that came into the season with a lot of hype. I think that was just the one half of football that Lenore Sellers and that offense was able to put together, and the defense complimented them with it. And that was just an anomaly of South Carolina football.
If they play 10 times, Zach, if they play 10 times, A&M wins 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but I mean that is a fair point. South Carolina did light them up in that first half, so they have shown that they do have weaknesses in the defense. So that is fair.
Okay, we go to tomorrow, and there are plenty of games still tonight as well. But the game that really sticks out for me, Zach, is in Dallas. It's actually in Denton, Texas. It's in North Texas. That's right there on I-35 if you're driving in Texas. And the North Texas mean green. going to play Temple and blow them out. It's 20.5. They win by 30. The total is 65.5. They may get that themselves. Eric Morris is leaving that school to go to Oklahoma State, but he is planning to stay with his school, North Texas. If they qualify, which they look pretty strong for, a group of 5 spot to get to the playoffs, it would be an amazing accomplishment. Because believe me, I've been to North Texas Stadium. I've been to their campus. Football is not on the top of their mind over there. It's pot, music, more pot. That's about it. So they are laying 20.5, and they are going over the 65.5. Give me North Texas.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely like the over in that because they like to throw the ball around and light it up. So yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. And that's a lot of points to have to lay, but we like North Texas offense for sure.
Let's go. Let's go to some of these games for tomorrow. Again, we have 2 Saturdays here. It's today is Saturday and tomorrow is Saturday. Rivalry week is better than my birthday. It's better than Christmas. It's better than Halloween. It's better than just about everything. I love Rivalry week. This is paradise for me. I can't wait for the games today and tomorrow. It's paradise. It's paradise. What's that song? Paradise. Who sings that? That's Coldplay or something. All right. Let's start with that Clemson, South Carolina game at Columbia.
Yikes.
God, can South Carolina get over them? I'd love to see them beat Clemson. I don't trust them. In this case, Clemson is getting 3.5. You're going to give me points in this game. I don't care. In this rivalry, points seem like a gift. So give me Clemson, although I hope South Carolina wins.
Yeah, so with this one, I hate picking the Gamecocks. I'm a South Carolina Gamecock alum.
You are.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately, I am. Yeah. So
where's your Gamecock gear? What the hell? I'm wearing an Alabama hat in Gainesville here.
I have it. I have it somewhat. I don't try to flaunt. That's not something you flaunt. You know what I mean? But I have it. If people.
Why? It's your school.
It is. I have shirts.
Jeremy Foley went to some school nobody's ever heard of. Scott Strickland. He's not a Gator. And these people still worked for and rooted for the Gators, right?
Yeah, I have shirts, I have hats, I have things. But speaking of the game, so they are not bowl eligible. They win the game, they cannot make a bowl, and that was also the case last week when they went against Coastal. And it felt to me like they played loose. They went out there and they were throwing the ball. They were playing good defense. They were running trick plays that were actually working. They really want to beat Clemson. Shane Beamer's fighting to save his job, so I do think the Gamecocks will win this game and win by enough to cover, but God, I don't like it. It should be on PBS as far as TV goes.
They win by 3. I cover the spread, and I get the team to win.
I think they can.
Here's a game that's interesting, and I don't understand this line, but then I looked at Louisville, and their quarterback's not playing. They're laying 2.5 to Kentucky at home. Louisville stinks. They're just not good. Kentucky, they're not good either. Kentucky, I think, is playing for a bowl spot. Louisville, I think, is already qualified. I hold my nose and just close my eyes if I have to bet on Kentucky or if I have to, anything Kentucky. I don't even like the bourbon. Yeah, I'm a Tennessee bourbon guy. So, Kentucky plus 2.5. Give me stupid ass Kentucky.
I would take Louisville, probably honestly just to be different. But yeah, Kentucky's they've been falling. They just haven't. Mark Stoops is another guy that's kind of, I don't know if they would fire him or what, but he feels he's also coaching for his job. But I like Louisville, Jeff Fromm. I like them to cover the 2.5.
All right, I've got some system plays for you here that if you're tired of us telling you what we think will happen, you might be able to use some of these trends and systems to make some picks for yourself this weekend, folks. In season finale games since 2015, that's 10 years, teams scoring more than 43 points per game are 27, 17, and 1 against the spread. That's 61%. What is the play in that system? It's North Texas minus 20.5. We checked that off. We've got that one. They're playing Temple. Temple's not. And here's another one. In season finale games since 2015, when there has been a difference of 4 wins or more between the two teams, when the better team has been the road team in this matchup, the record has been 61-38 and 1 against the spread. That's a 62% system play. So who is that? That's Mississippi. Check mark. -7 at Mississippi State or 7.5. That's Utah laying 13.5 at Kansas. I love Utah in that case. That game started, I think the line went from 13.5 down to 10.5, so I like it even better now. Don't know why it moved 3 points, and who the hell would put their money on a 5-6 Kansas team, but this is betting. Indiana laying 27.5 at Purdue. Check mark there. I love that. And then you've got James Madison at 22.5 at Coastal Carolina. I like that. And Alabama -5.5 at Auburn. I like that. And what scares me is that I like a lot of favorites this weekend. But in rivalry weekend, I think the cream rises to the top, to use the cliche. And I think we'll have some blowouts in some of these games.
How about one that I heard you mention with Shane earlier that would kind of go against that trend? What about Texas Tech laying 23.5 at West Virginia? Because I'm kind of feeling like the Mountaineers. I kind of feel like that might be too many points at home.
Well, I do too. I think Texas Tech knows where they're going, though. Big 12 championship, playoffs, and all that. I don't think they're going to keep I think they're going to keep the pedal to the metal.
Exactly. That's part of it.
Defensively, they're just outstanding. Here's another system for you. In games featuring 2 ranked teams since 2017, home teams are 60%. That's 189 and 129 and 9 against the spread. So what are those teams this weekend? That would be the Texas Longhorns. Okay, I did not take that. I took A&M, so I'm against that system. Michigan +10 against Ohio State. I'm not sure I like that either.
That feels right, though. The more I think, because I just, you know, Ohio State, if they can, they will beat them by 30, 40 points. But they just seem to muddy it up and keep it close against those guys. And to beat them by 2 scores, it's going to be tough, man.
Well, when I was in Columbus, one of the things I keep saying, and I'll just repeat myself once again, those fans were bored. But now that they've got a Michigan game on town, they'll show up to Land.
Yeah, they're locked. Yeah, that is the thing.
Show up. I think
they will.
I think this little streak that Michigan's on has to come to an end. They were not as the better team last year, but won the game.
Right. Yeah,
the record showed that. They are not the better team this year. They will not win the game. Ohio State will have you will get their full attention. And defensively, I can't see Michigan scoring 14 points. I just cannot. I think Ohio State 24 or 30. And Michigan's very good on defense. But again, if you keep putting your defense out there with 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, by the second half, we all know what happens. We all seen this act before. And again, 2 other games on that system that I told you about. 2 ranked teams. Home teams are 60% in rivalry weekend. Well, Pittsburgh +7 at Miami against Miami at home. They like that one. Okay,
that's another one I want to bring up. I feel like we've been getting Pittsburgh. We've been getting Pittsburgh wrong.
And then we've got Tennessee laying 2.5 -3 against Vandy. I've got Tennessee there. So tell me what you think about this Miami game that you were saying.
Well, yeah, I just feel like we've been on the wrong side of this Pittsburgh team 2 weeks in a row, but they're back at home. They're back at home, and they're underdogs. They're not playing a team that is nearly as good as Notre Dame, despite what happened earlier this year. I like Pittsburgh to get after Carson Beck and cover the 6.5. Miami probably wins, but it's going to be like dirty. It's going to be a 4, 5, 6 point win, not a huge whole touchdown win.
Well, many teams that are worried about the playoffs don't want to see Miami win. And Pitt has to win the ACC championship game.
Yeah.
So that means they still have to win another game, most likely against Virginia, if they win this game. Here's a couple of here's the SEC total for you. That's the total. Over is 20-7 in SEC non-neutral expected type matchups within a field goal with totals. So what is that? That's Texas A&M and Texas over the total of 51.5. It's gone to 53.5. I still like it to go over. Texas A&M and Texas over. Couple of Big Ten trends for you real quick before we roll on out of here on a Friday edition of Win with JC because of the holiday. Big Ten home underdogs of 11.5 points in weeks 11 or later in the season have gone over the total 75% of the time. What is that? That's Penn State and Rutgers over 56.5. And Big 12 home underdogs of 23.5 points or more have gone 79%. Which game is that? That would be West Virginia and Texas Tech. So you would want West Virginia in that, but I don't. I want Texas Tech because this is a different Texas Tech makeup this year. Any NFL for you before we head out? We did good yesterday. Had Dallas, had Green Bay.
Yeah, you know what? I was honestly thinking yesterday. I was starting to think, do my picks get cursed on the Win with JC show? Because yesterday we didn't talk about those games at all, and they all went so well. But so
Yes.
just the Black Friday game, the Eagles hosting the Chicago Bears. Eagles 7-point home favorites. I feel like you want to go with the Bears here, even though I don't love it. I feel like because the Eagles' defense is going to get after Caleb Williams. They're the type of defense that can make him make the mistakes that he's prone to making. But the Bears have been playing real good, and the Eagles have struggled to move the ball at times. And I guess 7 points just feels like too much for a team that's 8-3 right now to be catching.
I agree. I just think if Philly can figure out offense, nobody beats them. But
that's
they
the
can't.
thing, though. Yeah, they're the
They
best
can't
team in the
figure it
NFL
out.
if they can do that.
Defensively, they are amongst the top 3 in the league on defense. The other 2 being the Rams and the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
But these Eagles are so good on defense. I just think if they score points, you can't beat them. But that's a big if. Dallas, Chicago's getting 7, and Caleb Williams just has this way of getting it done. Ben Johnson. Other real quick NFL game that I'm really liking is I think the Rams. And typically, I hate laying these kind of double-digit spreads in the NFL. It's a recipe for disaster. I watched Carolina play San Francisco. That's a disaster. LA right now might be the hottest team in the league. I'm taking the Rams.
With that one, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but LA having to come to Carolina and play at 10 a.m. local time. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Carolina coming off it. They did have to play on Monday, and it was a short week for them and all that, but they're coming off a tough loss, so I like them in a bounce back spot. 10 points is a lot, and they can run the football. If they just got to give the ball to their running back. And he got 8 carries last week. I don't understand that. Give the ball to Rico Dowdle. There you go.
Good call there. Anything else before we skip out? I think Buffalo gets back on the winning track against Pittsburgh. I just don't trust the Steelers. But I don't trust the Bills defensively either. Maybe I'll switch that. Let me just, on a hunch, let me go on the opposite side of Buffalo. I'm sick of losing with them. Give me the Steelers plus 3.5. They have to win next game. Baltimore lost last night.
Yeah, they did. And I was with Shedeur Sanders and the Browns last week. I'm going to go the opposite way. San Francisco was on the road laying 4.5. They also had to play at 10 o'clock in the morning. That is a concern. And Brock Purdy did look awful last week, despite them winning the game. But the Shedeur Sanders is going to be an up and down train. He's up right now, so it's about to come back down, and that's just where it's going to be. I think the 49ers can win by at least a touchdown.
Sounds good. Well, believe it or not, we are up against the top of the hour. We'll go through this with Shane, and we appreciate you watching Win with JC. Good luck this weekend on Rivalry Week. It is a 2-Saturday weekend, and that starts today. So have a great time, everybody. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the football. And hopefully on Monday we'll have some exciting news in Gainesville. We'll at least get this Lane Kiffin story behind us. Have a great weekend, everybody, and good luck with your bets.